Hey, Biology 2P96 students, Ian Gordon here, Rock Science Librarian. Just to show you some resources that could help you through this course, running your labs, and for a couple assignments and the library quiz that's coming up in March. A formal report needs to be done as it's in the Sakai outline. Take some time, search and add to your report 3 peer-reviewed scholarly articles. And your guidance suggests us to use Omni, but I'll suggest other databases to search. It says you can choose to include a website and evaluate it carefully. You can evaluate the articles. You got to do some digging around to see what may be appropriate before you actually dive into the scholarly databases to find scholarly peer-reviewed journals. But this helps you to do that. And most importantly, you have to find 3 peer-reviewed scientific articles. So lots of flexibility, which is kind of neat. When you can use them, how you could use them, have to relate to the course and the assignment and to the lab. But here's some tips and resources that will help you to be successful. I'm going to talk about the formal lab report, which we just looked at. The Unknown Disease Project video presentation, which is really a neat idea. It helps you to move forward with a particular disease. I don't know what they are, but I can help you to look for research about it. And the Essential Lab Reports, which is a formal lab report. Also, the Biology 2P96 library quiz, and how it can help you with that as well. So here's our Brock homepage, a starting point for everyone in the Brock Library. Omni is our database there, research guides, services, lots of resources to show you how to do things, what is scholarly peer-reviewed, tutorials about how to search Omni, lots of help. If you need help, reach out either through chat, which is usually there during the day on weekends and evenings, emailing the library, or consulting me or my colleagues. I'll show you how you do that as well. But let's click on the Research Guides tab. Lots of research guides by subject, by guides, by type, by owner. Biological sciences is what you're looking for. And it brings you to this particular page. And on the bottom of the tabs on the left-hand side for biological sciences, just not this course, there's a BIOL 2P96 tab. We'll talk about that in a minute. But on this tab, you'll find articles and books, services like interlibrary loans to get materials that we do not own. We don't own everything. Theses and dissertations, which may be appropriate. It's a gray literature, but it's really essential in many particular research paradigms. Patents and standards. Some videos, definitions, meaning how do you define something in an encyclopedia, dictionary, or handbook. Writing and citing is really important. How to cite things properly, how to use a citation management system like Zotero, and other hints on how to write formal lab reports, and how to write about including scientific information as well. But there's the Help tab, but Biology 2P96. You can see my picture on the bottom left, in addition to other information on this guide about new databases and things to look for, and the odd book that I found interesting that may be interesting for introductory biology. Here's my picture, and if you scroll down, here's my email, so email me at any time. In the subject line, put the word Brock University or Bio, so it doesn't go to my junk mail, or I don't get catching it. But if you click on the Book a Consultation tab, it finds my schedule. You can look at yours, find a time, and then click on a day and the time that works best for you with 24 hours notice. It'll ask you, what do you want to meet with me with? And you can express what your interest is. And it could be as simple as, not sure how to use the database. Citation management systems like Zotero, can you just show me how to do that? People say that it saves a huge amount of time. Or you're working in this course or another course, and you want my help in doing something in a timely manner. So here's the BIOL 2P96 tab. On the top is the video you're watching, and there's books on reserves, Aries ebooks and print books. Aries is the library database or system that puts library reserves to one side. But most of these items that are on reserve, you can check them out. Some are in print, some are in electronic, are also included on this page. If you go further down, here's a list of textbooks that are really, really important that we've got. Some of them, you can open them up. They're digital, and you can look at the tables of contents and the chapters. But anything about a digital ebook as opposed to a print book, you can open up and search within it. So you can search for a genus or species, search for a term or a phrase, or just browse. Serendipity is a research methodology. You may inform yourself of why you're doing this lab, how you could add to it, or just be more informed about mycology, microbiology, and fungi. Further down on this tab, you find classification books, handbooks, keys, identification, and picture resources. They're always really neat. They start from the time from lichens to fungi. These are sources scholars, researchers, and just general public people use to find things. Some of them are very specific, some of them are very general. So check them out as well. Further down, there's some reference resources I've listed. These are digital resources, like a dictionary, encyclopedia. So you have to define a term. You want to know more about something. And look at the references for it. Their Encyclopedia of Life is really neat. It's an open source. You have to register for it, but has great summary or research or review articles on any particular topic. Interesting stuff. Well, this is where I put everything else. Related to your essential oils assignment, your problem disease assignment, or just things in the library we've collected that may be of interest as well. On the top, it says a review article, an open access book, and 2 articles. I would include these as your examples of scholarly peer-reviewed articles because really they're summaries of the literature, but they're amazing resources that give you a heads up that you could take a reference from those and use them in your lab or your final presentation or your essential oils report as well. So go through these, click on them, browse through them, and at the bottom there's a really neat video, The Kingdom, How Fungi Made Our World. You got to check this out. And I'm guessing the library quiz will make you do that as well. But lots of things here for you to help. So let's go back. Biology 2P96, all the resources that are listed there. And on the top it says resources of importance to the study of. If you click on one of those lichens, mycology, fungi, mushrooms, and yeast, those are the controlled terms we use to describe subjects you'll find in Omni books that may be related to that you could sort by relevance, by date, or further dig deeper and find other things that may be important as well. Scholarly databases. Well, you'll have to go here because you'll have to search for these sorts of things. They're not on the Biology 2P96 tab. Some information about Figshare, Omni, how to find names of journals, and new databases, which are really kind of neat because they scrape different types of formats of literature, just not only scholarly peer-reviewed articles, but other sorts of things. But I've listed in reverse order of importance databases that we subscribe to, and some of them are open databases that you may use. Omni, which is our home database, which is kind of really neat, and it's a one-stop shop for finding books, streaming video, and articles as well. BIOS Citation Index, Zoological Record. If you go further down, you'll find other databases like Web of Science, Scholars Portal, CAB Abstracts, and if you keep going farther down, Environment Index, Google Scholar, and then the preprint archives, which these are where manuscripts by competitive researchers and research teams send their manuscripts to bioRxiv and Evo Archive. That's how you pronounce those sorts of things, where they're free and open so that you put them there so that you kind of have your place in the landscape set. So nobody can copy you, scoop you, or some people just put them there to share with other authors as well. Eventually all those articles, or most of them, I say a significant number of them, move into the journal, scholarly peer-reviewed papers, and are picked up by other databases as well. So keep going further down. We have an engineering, IEEE database, Medline, which is medicine, Embase, which is the European equivalent to Medline, and chemistry and SciFinder. At the very bottom, I've put a link to all the lists of databases. Could be 5 to 10 to 20 for each one of these categories for biological sciences that aren't listed there, for news, occupational health and safety, and for patents. Patents are really important in some areas of biological sciences. So here's the databases that I pulled from that list of about 6. There's about 16 here. And you can use any one of these. The neat thing about these is it'd be nice if we had one database that you could use and use nothing else, and it would give you all the results. Search by keyword, authors, research terms, phrases, and you'd find the articles that you're looking for. But that's why they call it the art of online searching. Each one of these databases may have the same article in it, but indexed in a different way. But most importantly, all these databases have unique items in each of them that's appropriate and that you would only find by searching that database. So your best chances is identify a need that you need to fill, those 3 peer-reviewed articles, or you're just looking to supplement or complement any of the projects or forms that you're using. But also you need to see what words would work best. And so you've searched in Google and Google Scholar and other sorts of databases. The results you get is only as good as the terms that you use. So kind of think through, do some investigative studies on the internet to pull a collective of and sort them out of keywords that you would want to search. Lots of databases here. So which ones would you use? Here's the ones I would suggest you use. So here's my informed opinion. Web of Science Complete is a database. They call it Web of Science because it takes algorithmically the top journals in each area of science, social sciences, humanities, but it's mainly a science tool. So everything on microbiology, the top 100 journals, 100 journals in mycology, bacteriology, general science, communication, lab technologies. And so it's a pretty authoritative source. The nice thing about this database, Web of Science Core Collection, is that it has just scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles, but you have to use your filter to know when it is and when it isn't scholarly peer-reviewed. Web of Science Complete includes other databases, which is kind of like an aggregated source. It includes BIOS Citation Index, which is biological abstracts. So your professor would have known biological abstracts as a database or even a print source to find scholarly peer-reviewed articles. It's BIOS, and it adds the citations of who've cited articles, what articles are being cited in each article as well. It includes zoological record and the Medline database. I think there's 5 or 10 databases altogether. But also Web of Science Complete includes Web of Science Core Collection. So it says fundamental core journals and articles and these other databases. And it's nice that you could search them all together. The other database I suggest uses Google Scholar. Use it within our IP domain so that you search and find things. I'll give you a sample search to look like. So you've got your strategy. Why am I looking for things? I still need those 3 articles I need to in-text cite as part of my lab report. Then I got to find out, well, the library quiz takes you to these resources as well. But more importantly, when you have your mystery disease, you have to kind of investigate it and find things. And you could cite or just pull from it. Just a caveat here is never cut and paste without citing. Plagiarizing is probably the worst thing that you could probably do. So make sure if you find something, you use it, cite it appropriately. You'll never be at fault. So here's a Web of Science database search. And I began by putting in the terms essential oil. And if you put quotation marks around a phrase like that, it picks up that word in that phrase. So essential beside the word oil or oils, where I've put shift 8 or the asterisk, like in the next sentence is antifung asterisk. It picks up antifungal, antifungus, any other words, and I separate synonyms by ors. So I've grouped my concepts. Found everything on essential oil or oils. I've got hundreds of thousands of articles, and I said, oh, well, let's slide in anything that deals with these other topics, antifungal, antibiotic, mycotox, terp, all those sorts of words that I thought were important. Again, this is where your research comes in hand. I still had tens of thousands of articles. So then I said, well, let's look at, I'm looking specifically to supplement my lab report on this topic or a genus species. So I put an MGI or Marsilia and truncated that to pick up the phrase that you could look up, and I ordered those together. And then I went back and said, well, essential oils is really important. Let's look at it in the title of the article. Now, not all article titles have essential oils in them that are about essential oils, but I just need 1 or 2 of the best ones. And so I'll do that. Then I went back and I said, well, let's narrow this even further. Titles, and I put all those other words together as well. And then I looked at the last terms in the abstract of any scholarly peer-reviewed article. Limited by language, limited by date, and limited by format. I clicked on Web of Science article. I didn't want a summary article. I didn't want a conference paper. And I've got 30 or 40 articles. I found this article in the database. It gives you a title, author, name of the journal, the DOI, digital object identification number, which is unique to this particular article, an abstract. I went, this looks interesting. On the right-hand side, it says, has 54 cited references in the bottom of the article, so you can look at those in the database. But there were 7 articles in this database. There may be more out there, but in this database that had cited this article. So I clicked on it and found, see if those are relevant. So again, serendipity is a research methodology. You'll find what you're looking for, but you won't find the exact article that you're looking for. So you have to take an article that has an application, looks at this particular issue that you're looking for, a genus species, or so browse through it and find the most appropriate article that you're looking for. Clicked on the find it, or I cut and paste the DOI or the title in Google Scholar, and I found the article itself. So you read it, you looked at it, I want to take a quote from it, I want to look at the data, I can cite the entire paper, or I could cite a phrase using APA or the formatting style that you think is appropriate. So you got to do this 3 times. What I tend to do on the Library Biological Research Guide under right-hand side, I put Zotero Bib. If you've not used it, I would suggest you use it. I put in the DOI for this article, and it produced in any format that you want. I chose APA, and here's the citation that I got. Actually, if you look at it, it's pretty bang on. So you use Web of Science Complete. It includes all those other additional sources, and using the filters, hopefully, and the search strategy that works for you, you'll find maybe 3 articles that are related to a topic that you'd like to talk to, and cite it and reference it in the lab report. Here's Google Scholar. And it's a pretty blunt instrument. You don't know what it's searching, and you don't know how good or how bad. And you can't add concepts or ors. So I just throw in, I think my disease is grape powdery mildew. So I put it in as a phrase. I put the word fungicide. You can't truncate too much in Google Scholar, but it allows you to do this. And I can sort the articles by data or by relevancy. I can include or exclude citations. And if you're in the Brock iDomain, or if you come through the Brock proxy portal, it pulls up on the right-hand side a place to actually get the article itself. Read the titles, the abstracts, and see where it actually finds you. And I went through them. I went through about 30 or 40, and I found this article. Looks pretty interesting. How do you know if it's scholarly peer-reviewed? Well, usually the keywords tell you the author's affiliation, has a methodology, has an abstract, it cites references, has institutional addresses for the authors. It's written in a format that's a scientifically scholarly article. And if it's peer-reviewed, usually it has the received, accepted, and published dates, as on the left-hand side, to say that it's gone through this and it's been accepted by peers in a blind review process as adding to the literature and certainly worthy of publishing. So this is the gold standard. I put the DOI into Zotero Biv. I pulled up the citation, cut and paste it. Looks pretty good. Cite it, in-text cite it appropriately, and add it to your references wherever you think it's appropriate. So some final thoughts. Look at the Library Research Guide for Biological Sciences and the BIOL 2P96 tab. It's there for you to browse through and to consider. Almost all digital. There are some resources there, but they're mostly all virtual, so you can do this at any time from anywhere. Use the Web of Science Complete database, and we kind of explained why. Google Scholar is another database, though there's 16 I pointed out that may be appropriate. Don't forget about the library quiz. That'll be up and running sometime in March, I think. There's seminars the week of February 28th to March 4th. Hopefully they'll be in person if we get there. And there'll be an opportunity to test and try, push and pull. And it may be important if you're having trouble, or you just want to know more about the library quiz, or you're just interested to learn with others about these databases and more things I hope to bring to you as a student, as a scholar, and as a potential researcher. They'll be held in the Learning Commons, which is in the base of the library, and Learning Commons Classroom A. But at any time, you want to review something like I suggest, book a consultation, use the chat, email appropriately, ask for assistance from anyone, or book a consultation with me. I won't do the research for you, and I won't find an article, but I'll work with you so that when you finish this, you'll understand the tools and the resources to use for this course and these assignments and any other course that's biology related. Just remember, we can help. Thanks for coming. Good luck with this assignment, and all the best with this particular course. Hope to see you in March.